ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brian O'Brien with 106.3 FM, the big one, out of Pineville, Kentucky. We cover a lot of things that go on in the tri-state area, and one of those things is elections. Coming up on the 6th of August, there's going to be a pretty big election. Commissioners, governor's primary, but a lot of the things that are taking place in Claiborne County will come to an end at that point for the election cycle. Now, there are some other offices that are on a cycle, but tonight we're going to have a debate between the candidates for Claiborne County Mayor and the candidates between the sheriff's candidates, or the debate between the sheriff's candidates. So we're looking forward to that. I've given some instructions to the audience, and we have a great audience with us. If you could take the camera, kind of twist it around for me there, and get a good view of some of the folks. If you're currently wanted by the police, they're here waiting for you. All right, turn that camera back around there. All right. So we got a couple of instructions, folks, that we've given the audience, and it's basically please wait for applause until the end of an answer for a candidate. If a candidate makes a good point, please wait till the end of an answer. Be careful with some knee-jerk reactions. It's real easy to do that. We're going to have the format talked about here in just one moment, but I want to bring up two of the three candidates that replied and said they wanted to be a part of this debate. So we are going to bring up right now your incumbent, Mr. Joe Brooks. And you can clap if you want to. This is appropriate time. And Mr. Joe Johnson, the challenger. Now, there will be a flip of a coin here in just a minute. We'll tell you why. Mr. Daniels has chosen not to be a part of this debate. We did reach out to him, and I gave him several opportunities to answer. He decided this was not him. This was not for him, so we don't hold that against him. Each debate, gentlemen, lasts 60 minutes from open to close, including all introductions and conclusions, unless there's some long-winded talk, which we think shouldn't be a problem. The debates are being streamed on the big one, 106.3 FM Facebook page, as well as YouTube. And the number of segments, subject areas, the length, and the order will be determined by me, the moderator, and the organizers. And we have had them sign the debate format so they all understand what it is they're going to be getting into tonight. So there will be a 2-minute introduction of both of the candidates. Then each candidate will have the same question, but the succeeding question will be asked alternatively so that the candidates are not answering the same order each time. Okay, so we get both candidates talking from the hip, and we don't want them just echoing what each other says, if that makes sense to you. Timekeeper is right here in front of me. This is my sales manager, Eric. He has 3 cards with him, and the first card is blue. That's 60 seconds. Again, you're getting 2 minutes for each answer. It does look like 68, but I promise it's 60. All right, the next one is going to be yellow, which is the 30-second mark or warning. And then the 10-second. Eric, I want you to come this way just a little bit so that we can make sure we see both of the candidates. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, so if we'll take the camera now to just these 2 candidates, I appreciate that. And of course, I don't have a coin on me. I need a quarter, please. I'm working off of a Claiborne County budget. That one was for Mitchell Cosby. I just need a quarter, and make sure it has 2 heads on it. Thank you.
I want it back.
She said she wants it back. Okay, so the incumbent is going to get to choose whether to go first or go last. Meaning, the first person to talk will be the last person to speak. Does that make sense to you, gentlemen? Okay, so we will flip this coin, and in midair you're going to call it. If you do not call the right side of the coin, this gentleman will get to choose whether he goes first or second. Okay? Ready?
Sure.
Please don't drop this one. It is heads. Mr. Johnson, you get to choose. Mr. Johnson gets to choose whether he goes first or goes second.
I'll go first.
You'll go first. All right. Give me a moment to take some notes here. Please put your phone on vibrate. Thank you. All right. The first introduction will be Mr. Joe Johnson. Sir, you have 2 minutes to introduce yourself to our audiences.
Hi, my name is Joe Johnson. For the last 20 years, I've been a part of this community. I'm not a politician. I'm a neighbor just like you guys. I'm running for this office to bring trust back to the mayor's office, to the administration. So many times I think that it's just not there. I've been I'm really nervous, guys. Sorry.
You take your time. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm not a politician. My background is working in retail management. I love showing up early and solving problems and answering to real people every single day. In 2015, I had fallen off a ladder. I've had 8 back surgeries, and I'll tell you what that taught me is I know what it means to struggle, to stretch a dollar, to keep it going anyway, because that's what folks in this county do.
All right.
Thank you.
Now, you may notice that he has some notes. Normally, we don't allow those, but I'm making an exception. If Mr. Brooks would like to use some notes, he's more than welcome to as well. Okay, all right. All right, Mr. Brooks, if you will take 2 minutes to introduce yourself, please.
Sure. My name is Joe Brooks. I've lived in Claiborne County my whole life, with the exception of going off to college and the Navy after I graduated high school. I have an undergraduate degree in philosophy, graduate degree in social work. I don't claim to be a politician, even though I wear the moniker well some days. I consider myself a change agent, which is what I fought for 8 years ago, or 10 years ago at this point in time, was stopping a jail expansion in Claiborne County, which basically allowed me to be in this position today. Had I not done that, Claiborne County would have been in about $20 million of debt that we are. Prior to me getting into office, Claiborne County was in dire financial straits. We had to borrow from one fund to the other to make payroll. I'm happy to say in 8 years now, we've never had to borrow a single penny from the road department, the school department, or the sanitation department to make payroll. And this year, we're going to close out a fund balance, the best that Claiborne County's ever been, with a little over $5.2 million in fund balance. Now, people will say, Joe, is that the right thing to say and brag about that? It absolutely is, because that's the way we do our budgets at home. It's not my money, it's your money, and I have to be physically responsible for that. And I have to work with the county commission. People ask me what one of the best things that I've ever done is, and it's I've live streamed our meetings. I think people now over 8 years have saw where we are in Claiborne County and where we're deficient. It's not because of a lack of me trying. It's a lack of county commission willing to move in the right direction for the whole county, which is why I think you have 45 people now running for 21 seats. because I think that message has been received that we need some change in Claiborne County, not at the mayor's level, but at the county commission level, to where those folks are finally willing to work with the mayor's office and to move Claiborne County into a better position.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, since Mr. Johnson went first, Mr. Brooks will go first on this question. And the question will change just a little because I'm addressing the incumbent and now I will be addressing the challenger, but the essence of the question is the same. As the incumbent, please highlight at least 3 things you have accomplished in your current term.
Sure. The first thing is opioid treatment. When I ran 8 years ago, the biggest problem that we had was opioids in Claiborne County. Claiborne County applied for an ARC grant, an Inspire grant, which was intended to help individuals in their own system to overcome addiction. We partnered with Helen Ross McNabb on that. The metal building out in front of the Justice Center was step 1 of that. There's been about 50 to 60 women that have gone through that program now over 8 years. They've got a recidivism rate with those ladies of about 40%. I think that's a good number. Phase 2 of that now is running in place. With the additional house, Helen Ross McNabb, as part of that grant, we gave them land for that, and then that was their match that they had for that. The other part is getting our physical house in order. That's the second thing that I'm very proud of. Like I said, it's not my money, it's your money. I manage your money much better than I do my own money. And that's the way that I was raised to do that. The third thing that I'm most proud of are some of the economic developments that we've done. We applied for ARC grant to expand a boat ramp down at Brogan's Boat Ramp. I got a lot of pushback from the county commission to do that. We've had our first fishing tournament down here. We look forward to having another fishing tournament down here. The economic impact of that one fishing tournament shows us the same data of Ray County, Tennessee, that we were shooting for. And in 1 week, Claiborne County was guesstimated to have brought in a little over $20 million in revenue to Claiborne County. That is gas tax, that is groceries, and that is rental units along the lake and hotels and Airbnbs for those folks to stay. So those are the 3 things that I set out to do. Those are 3 things that I've got done in the last 8 years, and we want to keep moving in the right direction.
Thank you, sir. As the challenger, Mr. Johnson, what 3 things do you hope to have accomplished by the end of your term should you be elected? And if you'll do me a favor, just bring the mic to you just a little bit more and tilt it down just a little. Mr. Brooks, would you do the same for me, please? You don't have to project, but just make sure you don't have any feedback. Thank you.
Can you repeat the question?
I can. As the challenger, what 3 things do you hope to have accomplished by the end of your first term should you be elected?
Well, the first one is to bring trust back to the mayor's office. People just, like I said, they just don't trust. Second, probably make sure we have an ethics committee. At the last meeting we had, we found out that we didn't have one, and they said we did have one. People that were on it that didn't know they were on it. That was embarrassing for the county, because that was on the radio or on your YouTube channel, and that was embarrassing to see. You know, hey, you're on it. Well, I'm not on it. You know, so no one knew anything about it. Third, be transparent with the budget. The budget was not. They just did this meeting. It shouldn't even happen. They should have postponed the meeting. Right before the meeting, the budget director gets up and says, "I'm sorry, I didn't post the right numbers again." You know, in the paper. You know, he didn't know they had to be posted. You know, and that comes from the mayor. I mean, that's his guy. And he, I know he didn't. But that's his guy. You know, and he says, and he keeps apologizing until the county attorney sits down there and starts talking to him. Now, I don't know what they're talking about, but they took him off to the side and they're like, basically probably telling him to shut up. And, you know, this was during the budget meeting that the mayor didn't actually attend the budget meeting. I don't know why. Maybe he had personal reasons. So just the budget, being transparent, knowing, you know, bringing trust back to the department or the mayor's office. and then an ethics committee.
Mr. Brooks, because your opponent mentioned your office and your name, you have 1 minute to rebut.
Well, let's see if I can get that all tucked in there. I think there's enough trust in the Claiborne County Mayor's office. People call, they ask me questions, they have complaints. If I'm not there, they get called back. I don't blow anybody off. There are some things that I don't have the authority to do. So if that's the trust that we're talking about, I can't help that. With regards to the budget hearing that I was late to, I farm full time. I had equipment failure on that day. I called Brandon to let him know, Brandon to let him know that I'd be here as quick as I could. He even called Chairman Cosby to let him know I'd be here as quick as I could. As far as your last point of the ethics committee, I will let you know that we're going to check that off. There's already submitted to the clerk today for the reappointment of that committee, so you won't have to do that promise in 4 years. So we're going to take care of that.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Next question. The first part of the question goes to Mrs. Johnson. The current wait time for EMS and firefighters has been unduly long in some cases, and most likely detrimental to residents in some other cases. What plans do you have to make first responders timelier and more accessible throughout the county?
First of all, I went to one of the fire chiefs meetings, and they talked about a new radio system at that time. But it was going to be a digital system, and it would be very expensive. But that's where we need to go. We need to get that system so those people can be told faster, comes from 911 faster, goes to them faster on their little radios. They're not out of service anywhere, as far as I know. It will be very expensive, like millions of dollars. But, I mean, the mayor kept saying about, we had $5 million extra money this year. Well, that could be spent on that. Yes, I know you need a rainy day fund. I get that. But also, saving lives is a lot more important than a rainy day fund, in my opinion.
All right, thank you very much. Mayor Brooks, the current wait time for EMS and firefighters has been and is unduly long and at times most likely detrimental to residents. What plans do you have to make first responders timelier and more accessible throughout the county?
So I will admit a fault of Claiborne County that happened in 2014 when they were $8.5 million in debt with County Hospital, and they put that out to bid for a group to come in and get that. At that time, Covenant Health won that bid to get that. They secured the debt into an escrow account for the county, and we bought them an ambulance every year out of those funds, and then we supplemented their payroll. I have zero authority over the operation of the hospital or the Claiborne EMS because it all went into one package deal with Covenant Health. It's been an issue with Covenant Health now because Covenant Health is doing a lot of transports. 911 calls do not pay. Transports pay. If you're going to dialysis, they pay. So they do what most counties do, supplement their budgets off those transports. You're running about 4 buses in the county. If the county were to try to take that over, you're looking at about $3.6 million that we've got to find. Right now, we pay Covenant Health annually about $387,000 for a new ambulance and the supplements on the payroll. If we wanted to do 6 buses, we're looking at about $4.8 million. Now, that all sounds good, and you can make a case as a fund balance, but a fund balance is a one-time deal, and if I expend money out of the fund balance this year, I'm not going to have that same fund balance next year, so the only place for me to do that is a property tax increase. And I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but what folks don't know, the sole revenue source for Claiborne County is property tax, because our local option sales tax piece goes to the school system. So we have budget numbers and we crunch them. The only thing we need to look at is property tax.
Thank you, sir. All right, this question goes first to Mr. Brooks. Do you have a plan to protect the people who have lived here for generations from people who would like to take advantage of the area's resources?
plan ad nauseum. The only option that Claiborne County would have to protect the people that have lived here generationally is if the county commission wanted to adopt zoning. So far, that gets nowhere with county commission. They don't want to do that. People don't want to be told what they can and can't do with their property. They don't want restrictions on their property. So then the only other option that you have is the County Powers Act, which will allow county commission to adopt certain ordinances, that you will, about either trash in the yard or junkyards or development to keep it going from farmland to something. There are absolutely no safeguards in place at this point in time to stop anybody from coming in and moving into your neighborhood and putting in a junkyard next to your house if that's what they want to do. It's their property. So you don't want to give up any rights to your property. You can't then say when somebody moves in and jumps up the property next to yours that you want something done to that property without having a give and take of some kind of regulations and rules in place to protect the home that we have known generationally. People will move in and do what they want to do, and we see it every day. They come from California, they come from New York, they come from Illinois. They're highly regulated states. And it's the wild, wild west of them. They have no septic systems. They have no need for that. They're going to start junking up their yard and stuff, and there's not a thing to do to that. The plan as a leader of Claiborne County is to have a hard conversation. We've had. They've fallen on some deaf ears. Some of them are conversations that we're having now of ways to get around that to where it doesn't hurt as bad. But that's the only plan of action Claiborne County has that it can utilize to protect the dirt that we've owned for generations.
Thank you, sir. Same question to you, Mr. Johnson. Do you have a plan to protect the people who have lived here for generations from people who would like to take advantage of the area's resources?
I do not have a plan as of yet, but I would like to get with people as people because they protected their property like they should. Just public talking, that's what we need. They got that place out of there, they didn't have to leave. There's nothing that we could have done. They could have put that place there, everybody would have hated it, but they would have still been there. But they got that place out of there. So, no, I don't have a plan yet, but I will get one.
All right. Thank you, sir. The fourth question starts off with Mr. Johnson. Claiborne County has opportunities for growth, but also faces economic challenges. What are your 3 priorities for creating jobs, attracting new businesses, and supporting existing local businesses over the next 4 years or within your term should you be elected? Absolutely. Claiborne County has opportunities for growth, but also faces economic challenges. What are your top 3 priorities for creating jobs, attracting new businesses, and supporting existing local businesses over the next 4 years?
First thing, probably tourism. We need to get something here, like a water park or something like that would draw people in. Then that would help the community. That would help everything. That would, down the line, it would help, repair roads, it would help repair everything as you want. The second thing, probably just, cleaning up the downtown areas of Castle, New Castle. Sometimes it looks like a third world country. I hate to say that. I'm not picking on them. It's not very welcoming.
Understood. Mr. Brooks, Claiborne County has opportunities for growth, but also faces economic challenges. What are your top 3 priorities for creating jobs, attracting new businesses, and supporting existing local businesses over the next 4 years?
So in 2018, Claiborne County came up from the bottom tier designation of Tier 4 distress. We are now Tier 4 at-risk county, so we're moving in the right direction. One of the things that people need to understand is the limited amount that the mayor has with regards to that, even though I've gone through many ECD programs and have certified economic development in the state. A lot of that problem or inability rests with the industrial development board. So for companies or businesses to come into the area, they have to offset their costs with regards to construction, upfit, and hiring employees. The Industrial Development Board is the sole entity, the quasi-governmental entity for the county that sets the tax levy against those new businesses that come in and offers them pilots, tips, or gifts, which are tax incentives that will offset their investment into a county. Now, I see constantly job offerings of companies that want to come into the county and that want to bring 35 jobs. So what we don't want to do is upset the apple cart with regards to our current employers. So we want to go for those small businesses. And the unique thing about those is these jobs are highly educated jobs, which is something that we say that our kids can't get an education stay in Claiborne County, but those jobs also start out at about $70,000. So we need to start educating the public on the process of what it takes to get these businesses into the county, and then we need to start putting pressure on the right folks to do that. Now, with regards to another point, I won't have time for 3 of course, but with regards to another point, it takes revenue to attract businesses into a county. That revenue is going to have to come by getting an index fund, and I'll keep saying it over and over tonight, the local option sales tax piece has to come back over to the county so we can have revenue to attract businesses, to recruit those businesses, and put Claiborne County on a larger map.
Thank you, sir. First question back to Mr. Brooks. This is question number 5. Claiborne County has unique natural and historical assets. What role should tourism play in the county's economy, and what investments would you make to attract visitors while preserving the area's character?
So I will say that Claiborne County is doing a good job of following the state's model. Tennessee, if you don't know, is solely a sales tax state. There's no state income tax, there's no state land tax. So when we go to these meetings outside the county, which is a source of contention that the mayor should go out of the county to do his job, we learn how to do those things, and those investments, when we go out and see what the state is doing, is there. So tourism, we've made investments in the lake. I've gone to look at mountain bike parks in Arkansas. We're currently talking to TDEC now over in the Timberland area, about 500 acres over there. We want to put in a mountain bike park over there that will have a chairlift to take you up, and this is what people want to do. So those beds are then filled with local tax revenue. Those people that come in and stay in those beds pay that hotel tax, they pay the sales tax, they pay the food tax when they go out to eat. That's what it's going to take to get Claiborne County moving forward. Now, it is a fine line to do that stuff. We have to work with TDA on the lake side, TWRA on that side. We have to work with TDEC and TWRA on the other side of that stuff, and the Cumberland National Park. I'm happy to say that we have a really good relationship with the park, and this year we're going to have our first ever bicycle race in August in Claiborne County that will be a 100-mile race. These are road bikes, and they are going to pedal the gap, is the name of it. So far, I think there's about 65 people that have signed up for that, and that's going to start downtown Cumberland Gap, and that's going to pedal all the way to the pinnacle for those that can make it through the tunnel. We've worked it out that the tunnel will close to let the bicycles go through, and they will close to let one group come back through, and then they'll be coming back through. So it's things like these, thinking outside the box, what's working in other places, and making that work here. And that's what we're going to continue to do in my next term.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Johnson, Claiborne County has unique natural and historical assets. What role should tourism play in the county's economy, and what investments would you make to attract visitors while preserving the area's character?
This goes back to like a water park, getting out in here would attract people into the area. They can go to like Cumberland National Park, the Iron Ruins, everything up there. I mean, just, we need more hotels, you know, which they're building one in the area. He talks about, you know, debt taxes and all that kind of stuff, but we don't have that right now. I mean, not very many. Just watching the area, I guess, would preserve the area and the way it looks. Don't let people just come in and do whatever they want, you know.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. This first question is back to Mr. Johnson. Many young adults leave rural communities in search of opportunities elsewhere. What is your plan to make Claiborne County a place where these young people choose to build careers and raise families?
One more time.
Okay, no problem. Many young adults leave rural communities in search of opportunities elsewhere. What is your plan to make Claiborne County a place where young people choose to build careers and raise families?
Just need to make it more welcoming. Better jobs, obviously. I mean, the current administration said about creating higher paying jobs, you know, by having smaller businesses. That would be good. That would keep people here, their kids here, but they would probably end up being transplants, you know, which that's a bad word. But just
Okay. Since the administration was mentioned, you want a minute?
I said administration. I didn't say it. Name
That's
of
not administration.
But it is not
I said towards
administration.
administration, that's everybody. That's not kind
You're not debating the rest of the county, though. You're sitting here talking to me, Joe. So if you talk about that, that's my record that you're trying to tarnish.
We will give him a minute.
So I will say we've done pretty good with regards to bringing people to the table. We're working with LMU and Walter State now about programming that is getting people to have different certificates. We've done the same thing in schools now where they have a graduate ready to where when they go through, they've already got some type of training for industrial qualifications on their high school diploma in Claiborne County. With regards to the hotel tax, which is a bed tax, last year that brought in about $165,000. So there are a lot of spots that are renting hotel overnight and a lot of stuff that's going on with that. And we're going to continue moving that in the right direction as well.
Okay, thank you very much. It is currently 7:39. We have 4 more questions. And this one will go first to Mr. Brooks. And it's a hot button issue. Okay. For many years, roads have been a focus of the commissioners' meetings, oftentimes with many roadways not getting the attention that other roadways do. How do you remedy that?
Well, I will say that the road department is grossly underfunded. Right now, they get 1.5 pennies of property tax revenue, and that is solely so that they can have insurance. They are 100% funded from a gas tax at the state level. As you all know, you pay a wheel tax that goes to the road department, and this is where myself and road superintendent Denton disagree with how that ought to be used. I feel that there ought to be a study done, and every county road that connects to a state highway should have a count. And then that should be developed into a list of the highest traveled county roads. And then that wheel tax money, which I am in favor of, as long as it goes and is used in the correct way, pays those not hardship. I think, spoke to Superintendent Pittman many times, that I'm not a fan of hardship, that we just need to pay the roads that we need to pay and be done with those. I think if there's a willingness between the two administrations to sit down and have a conversation in the next county commission, that we can get to a point to where people can stop hearing, you're on the list for 10 years. And your road is never at the top of the list or the bottom of the list, but it needs to be a quantitative list that shows actual traffic data of which roads are the heaviest, and those need to be the first. Right now, one wheel tax generates about $728,000, I think that's what it was last year. It's down from the first year that it went into $760,000. If it is true that you can pay 1 mile roadway per $100,000, each year we should be paving asphalt, 2-inch asphalt roads to the tune of about 7 to 8 miles per year. You're in the neighborhood then of getting from a state highway out to where you're making your first turn to a secondary county road.
Thank you very much. Minister Johnson, for many years, roads have been a focus of the commissioners' meetings and oftentimes with many roadways not getting the attention that others do. How do you remedy that?
Well, I'm not a fan of Mr. Pitt. We can say that legally, but I think we need to start with making the road commissioner an elected or appointed position over an elected position. I've actually sent an email to Rick Hall in the CTAS, and he told me how to do it. He said it's a special act that you have to get either, you don't have to have the commissioner's support, but you need commissioner's support for a state senator or a state representative to take it to Nashville and get that, make it into an appointed position. I think that right there, then you can hold him more accountable. Right now, you get a road commissioner in there for 4 years, you can't do nothing to them. They do nothing in the last 3 years, you can't do anything to them. They're there. If they're not, you can get rid of them. As for just knowing what roads to pave and all that, I mean, that's something you have to look at. I don't have the facts on that. I'm not into that, you know, in that loop. But definitely making it an appointed position over an elected position.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Johnson, you have the first question, number 8. Would you be opposed to department heads being required to attend commissioners' meetings so that they can answer questions publicly that often go unanswered or are delayed?
No, I'm not opposed to that. They should be here. Every one of them should be here to answer whatever questions anybody asks.
Okay, and don't let me interrupt you. Okay. Mr. Brooks, would you be opposed to department heads being required to attend commissioners' meetings so that they can answer questions publicly that often go unanswered or are delayed?
So I think the major misconception when you talk about that question, the way you asked it, is that they have nothing to do with the governance of the county. So there are 3 distinct branches of county government. That's the legislative, executive, and the judicial. They fall in the fee office schedule for that, and if you open up your package, you see a monthly report of everything that's going on in those offices with regards to revenue, with regards to drawdown of the budgets. All of those folks are available and ready to answer any questions if we have them. We have had instances where we had the school system a question. This was something that was tabled month before last, so we invited the school system here. As far as requirements for having those folks here, I don't see a need for that because if you pay attention to the packet, the reports are already there. If you have questions, they're already there. Those folks bust their hinds every day. And by far the busiest office in this courthouse is the clerk's office. They stand in the hallway 4 and 5 deep to say to them, we need you to come here so we can ask you a question about tag collections. How much did we bring in local wheel tax money last month? It's in the report. So I don't see a need for requiring them here now. I know it's been a topic that the road superintendent is not at county commission meetings anymore to face the fire, if you will. Do I feel like he should be here? Well, he should probably come respond to some of these questions. I know that I would if people were bringing that to me and saying something about me like that. That would be my choice. But to require them to be here, it should be an ask. If there's questions from the public, if there's questions from county commission that they don't know, table it to the next month, and then request them to be here, and they should come.
Thank you. First question, back to Mr. Brooks, number 9. It's about spending. If the city has less money in the next fiscal year, what specific city services would you consider cutting first before raising taxes?
So county, not city.
I'm sorry, I meant for that to say.
So I would say, being where we are now with a healthy fund balance helps us out, that if we have any revenue shortfalls or unexpected projects that come up, we now no longer have to take it out of capital outlay. We now are required from one fund to the other and pay that back to interest. So by having a healthy fund balance, just like if you budget at home, if you have an air conditioner that goes down and you have a savings account, guess what you can do? You can fix your air conditioner. If you don't, you got to go borrow money from somebody, the bank or whomever, to take care of that problem. So I don't see any problems right now with regards to that in the next year. Now, provided that don't get a administration that comes in 4 years and says, oh, we've got this healthy fund balance, we need to spend every penny of that, we need to give out raises, we need to buy new cars, we need to do all these things that people call when they say they want in, then you're never going to have a healthy fund balance, and that's where we've been for 20 plus years with regards to spending money like it wasn't mine. So that mindset of having somebody in the office overseeing the budget that realizes that I pay the same property taxes that you do, and is a good steward of that money, is allowing us to be in a better position to where right now we're not even considering that for this difficult year or even the next difficult year set up good enough to where we're not having to have that conversation about having to cut back on stuff or having to find an alternate revenue or having to have a property tax increase. So I think when we think about what would we do, I would not change anything that we're doing right now because the proof is in the pudding. If you manage it like it's not your money and you're beholden to people else, somebody else's money, you're going to do well with that money and you're going to have it set aside and not have to have that conversation.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Johnson, if the county has less money in the next fiscal year, what specific county services would you consider cutting first before raising taxes?
I really can't answer that question because I have to sit down and look at the budget line by line and see what we could cut. But I do want to bring up something, when the mayor says about, your refrigerator or whatever breaks at home, well, what about when it breaks at work? He chose not to fix the air conditioning in here for 3 months. I know it was going to cost a fortune. I know he thought he had to get it out, and he didn't because it was an emergency right before this happened. Right before this debate, it suddenly fixed last week. I don't know. That's it.
Mr. Mayor, would you like to respond?
Well, they don't know, but I do. So we paid for the air conditioning services and the ADA upgrade, which we're about to start in the coming month, and the roof and the air conditioning at the Justice Center with the capital outlay, $2.5 million. It took a while for that to go through the county commission and get approved by the state, but it has, and then we're using the same architect on that stuff. I'm sorry that it fell that we had air conditioning today. I'm glad that we do. But again, that goes back to me telling county commission, I don't want to pull it out of fund balance because right now we are generating a huge revenue from the interest rate by holding that money in the bank. So if I've got to sweat a little bit or county commission's got to be a little uncomfortable, it's bringing in revenue by me not spending that money.
Thank you. I'd like to address something that's being claimed online, and I should have done it beforehand. I categorically did not give any of these candidates any of these questions prior to tonight. Anybody suggesting otherwise is making a false statement. You are more than welcome to contact me personally about that. Openness. This is number 10. Ms. Johnson, you go first. How will you make sure the city government shares information openly with the public? Can we repeat it?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Did I do it again? Sorry about that. How will you make sure the county government shares information openly with the public?
Well, by posting it where people can find it. Posting it online, on Facebook, and then maybe even flyers out of the senior citizens' homes, anything like that. Post it on the building, which they do a good job at that. They post it on the building here, on all 3 doors that I've seen. But other than that, in the progress, it's hard to find. It's in there. It's hard to find. You have to go through a lot, and just constantly, just letting everybody know. Like, put it on the radio. Put it out on the radio. I know that's going to cost money, but do that. Put it on TV. Things are just always kind of hidden, and the trust issue is just not there. He says he's not a politician. He is a politician. 8 years now, he's a politician. If I would win the election in 4 years from now, I would be a politician. That's all.
Thank you very much. You make sure that county government shares information openly with the public, Mr. Brooks.
So we are following the state sunshine laws right now with regards to the Open Meetings Act. You can go to claibornecountytn.gov. That's a website that was not in place until I got elected in the first term. You can click on the header County Commission, and you will find everyone's packet that is put up exactly within the requirements that the state law says that we have to do that. You've got an agenda in there, you've got fund balances, you've got revenues, you've got expenditures, you've got all the office reports in there, including the mayor's report. So that is readily available. We choose to put the flyers, 3 flyers, on the 3 main doors of the courthouse because that's where everybody comes that has to have county business, to pay their taxes, to get their wheel tax, to get a marriage license. It makes sense. We also put those at the post office. We also put one of those down at the highway. So could it be better? I can put them anywhere. But we meet every 3rd Monday of the month at 6:30 in this building. Except for January and February due to the 2 holidays, and then it's moved to the 3rd Tuesday of the month, the very next day, so that we don't confuse people or lose us from one week to the other. So the fact that it's not open and readily available may be because people can't go navigate the website and figure out where a drop-down button is for the county commission meeting, where that's the business is taken up by the county. I don't know of anything else that we need to do any differently because people now are engaged in county government more than they ever have been because we are broadcasting our meetings. There's nothing in secret. All you got to do is tune in and hear it, and there are comments. People make comments. People call their commissioners. People call me. So I don't know how anybody can sit there and say that we're not open or open enough.
All right, thank you very much. That has been 10 questions. We have 2 conclusions that we're going to go over, and each of the individuals will have 2 minutes to let the voters know why they should choose them for Claiborne County Mayor. So, Mr. Johnson, you decided to go second in the questioning, correct? You decided to go first, so you will be answering last. Mayor Brooks, you have 2 minutes.
I'm asking for your vote again because Claiborne County is finally moving in the right direction. You've got somebody that has the ability to put their best foot forward for the whole of Claiborne County. You've got somebody that's making connections internationally. On regular calls with the ECD. I have met with the governor's office numerous times. I'll actually be in Nashville week after next meeting with TDEC and ECD about a project that we're working on coming up in the next month or 2. And I've also been to D.C. to lobby against our senators and congressmen up there. I'm lucky to say that when they come to town, I get a call. That doesn't always happen with everybody. If that makes me a politician, that makes me a politician. I'm not a politician because I don't always get along with the folks in the county that I need to, because to me it's not rocket science that it's not done right, but nobody wants to do it right, so then that makes me a politician because I call people out of that. I feel that most people see what we tried to do in Claiborne County in 8 years. I feel like most people have felt the pain of what Claiborne County has been like for decades in the past, with no vision, no growth, no plan. And I feel like people are finally feeling the less burden of having to be threatened with a property tax increase every year just to make a budget work. I feel like most people are going to not say anything about that when you're on the campaign trail because they don't want to offend folks and say that you can't do that, or I don't agree with that, or I like this person good enough and I'm not going to say anything that hurts feelings. And I think that if you really get down to the meat and potatoes of county government, most people don't know how county government works. When you get into this role, it's easy to say, I'm going to be here for 1 term or 4 terms, but in reality, the rubber hits the road on the local level and you need that leadership.
Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Johnson, the next 2 2 minutes are yours to let the voters know why they should choose you for Claiborne County Mayor.
All right, you've heard a lot tonight, so let me leave you with something simple. My opponents will tell you your experience, experience matters. I agree. It's just a question of who's experienced. They know how the courthouse works. I know how your life works. I know what it takes to sit. I know what it's like to sit at the kitchen table, figuring out which bills wait until the next month. I know what it's like to get knocked flat on your back and get up. And I know what it's like to look around the county and think we deserve better than we can get. I'm not asking for your vote because of what I've been through in life. I'm not asking for your vote for me because of what I'll do, show up, listen, tell the truth, and put the people in Claiborne County first every single day. Early voting starts July 17th. It's not about politics, it's about people. I'm Joe Johnson, and I'd be honored to have your vote.
All right.
Can I say one more thing?
You still have a few seconds left.
I'd just like a moment of silence for my aunt. She was now passed away about 10 minutes before this today. And she's been the mayor secretary for his whole term. She's been a public servant for about the last 50 years between the school system and the mayor's office.
I will add that Sheila McNeil will be great with this, and it's a little cheap to bring that up. So I didn't mention it beforehand. I just found out the news. Part of me didn't even want to come to that. But please keep her family in your thoughts and prayers. She's been an employee of Claiborne County for 40 plus years. It started in the school system. She's been in the mayor's office for 3 mayors now, starting with Joe Colorado.
And I waited until this debate.
Okay, we'll have 10 seconds of silence. All right, that'll bring this debate to a close. But there's always a question that I ask before we say goodbye to any candidates. Mr. Brooks, do you believe you were treated fairly by the moderator?
Oh, 100%.
Mrs. Johnson, do you believe you were treated fairly by the moderator? Thank you very much.
I just wish we had more time, and I wish we could have some crowd questions. But good job.
All right, thank you very much. All right, folks, we're going to take a 10-minute recess/break. These folks kind of stretch a little bit. We're going to turn off this broadcast and restart another one here momentarily for the sheriff's debate.